this conversation is giving the Jason era, and I'm not feeling it. Like, it's just giving season 2 Jessica, and I feel like we've grown. But her earrings are really pretty, and she looks really nice.
Again, Candace giving her the pass.
Yep.
Every
I didn't give her a
time.
pass. I just liked her earrings.
Welcome back to a new episode of Millennial TV. We are your hosts, Liz, Candace, and Adrienne, and today we will be recapping Laguna Beach Season 3, Episode 9, First Date, Last Date. If you're not following us on social media, this is just a reminder that you can find us on Instagram and TikTok at millennialteav, and we do lots of fun posts, and we love interacting with all of our listeners. And you can also find us on YouTube at Millennial TV Podcast, where we have done some special video episodes, and we have all of our cast interviews up there to watch as well. So last week we shared our interview with Kyndra Mayo, and I just wanted to give a shout out to how fun that interview was. She was so open and honest with us, and she didn't hold back at all. In case any of you missed it, the episode is called The Queen Bee of Season 3, and you can check it out on Apple or Spotify. Or if you want to watch the interview, you can find it on our YouTube channel at Millennial TV Podcast. And speaking of our YouTube channel, I wanted to let everyone know that the travel vlog I made from my summer trip to Laguna Beach is officially available to watch. In case you didn't hear, over the summer, my husband Kyle and I stayed in Laguna Beach for a few days, and we took an entire day to go to different filming locations from the show. And we went to different beaches, different spots like Surf and Sport, restaurants like Heidelberg, and then some deep cut locations like where Dieter asked Jessica to prom, and also a lot of the houses that the cast members lived in during the filming of the show. So we had a really great time, and I had a lot of fun making the video, so I'd appreciate it if you guys would check it out, and I'll put the link to it in the show notes.
And it's so good, you guys. Candace
so
and I
good.
got an early watch, and there's so many like things that super fans would be so like happy to watch. They really like go into every location. So
You see so many cool things that you wouldn't even, like, Liz did so much research in order to get this right. Like, like every clip that you've ever wanted to see in real life, Liz got.
Yeah.
So it's honestly, just watch it. It's amazing. I loved every part of it.
It's so good. I wish someone did this years ago.
I know. I like,
Me too.
truly.
I'm so glad you guys liked it. And before we get into today's episode, let's catch up on this week's pop culture news. Since we're just 1 week away from Halloween, I thought it would be fun for pop culture to talk about the success of Art the Clown and the new Terrifier movie. If you're not sure what the Terrifier movies are, I'm sure you'd at least recognize Art the Clown as he's blown up this Halloween season. He even has his own animatronic at Spirit Halloween. So he's the clown that wears like a black and white clown jumpsuit, and his face is painted like a mime. He wears a little top hat on his head, and then he has a little black dot at the tip of his nose. So I'm sure you would recognize him if you saw a picture of him. So Art the Clown, his first appearance was in the 2008 short film The Ninth Circle, directed by Damien Leone, who he's directed everything with Art the Clown. And then he appeared in another short film called Terrifier in 2011. This is not the same Terrifier 1 movie. It was just called that. And then in 2013, both of those short films were put into an anthology horror film titled All Hallows Eve. And then in 2016, Damien Leone started an Indiegogo campaign to make the first official Terrifier movie. And it actually didn't reach the goal. And then a producer stepped in at the last minute and saved the film, and he funded the remaining amount.
Wow.
I know, it's crazy. So it wasn't until 2018 that the first movie, so 10 years later after the character like first appeared, 10 years later was when the first movie was released on DVD and Blu-ray, and it had a very limited theatrical run. And it went to Netflix, and it started to get like really noticed by people. So the first movie only cost $35,000 to make.
What?
I know. The success of the first movie led to Terrifier 2 being made, and that one premiered in 2022. That one cost $250,000 to make, and it grossed over $10 million at the box office.
Holy.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen all of them. So this led to Terrifier 3, which just opened last week. And the third movie, it had its biggest budget yet of $2 million. And in the first weekend, it was the biggest movie in the US, bringing in over $18 million, beating out the Joker sequel, which is a really big deal.
Oh my goodness.
So it's crazy because like so many critics said like nobody's going to go see this movie in the theater. Like this character is just like whatever, you know, and it's just like they proved all these people wrong. So it's just really exciting for the horror genre and the indie filmmakers to see something that came from so little that people have been criticizing to become literally the #1 movie in the US. And I think it's exciting because this is like the first new killer horror icon we've really had since Ghostface in 1996. And it's just really cool that he's like making his name for himself with like Freddy and Jason and, you know, like all these people. So he's like a super violent character. He's definitely not for everyone. It's like this hilarious charm that he has where like you'll go from laughing at what he's doing on the screen to like actually being scared of him like within a matter of seconds because he's a clown and he's like miming and he's being silly and funny. And then suddenly he like has a gun in his hand. So it's like, it's a really cool character.
Is it a campy type of film?
Yeah, it's very like Grindhouse, like very campy. The first one is super, super like, you know, it was probably 35,000. It's so low budget. It's very like student film-ish looking, but it's still good. Like it's still fun. And now the third one is like a legit Hollywood produced movie, you know?
I have a hard time with clowns because one, I hate them.
Uh-huh.
And two, it is like the epitome of scary clowns to me, and so like I'm an it snob, like, and
he's
I think
it's totally different character than Pennywise though, so different. Yeah, it's like the stuff with it is that like he had like a mission to like terrorize the kids in this specific town, whereas Art the Clown, it's like his gimmick is that he just thinks it's really funny to murder people. And so that's why he's always laughing when he does it. And so it's not like he's like really out for a specific reason. The second and third movies, they start introducing like supernatural elements to them. But at least like when his character was first introduced, he was literally just like, I think this is funny, so I'm going to kill people. I feel like that's why their characters are so different. Like you can't really compare them.
Compare him. Yeah.
Kind of movie.
I know. But every time I see like a clown, I'm like, oh, they're just doing like it over again, which I shouldn't feel that way. That movie is particularly like my childhood, so I'm very like partial to it, but I have been hearing a lot of things about Terrifier, so yeah,
it's definitely not for everyone. It's like extreme gore to like where this third one, it wasn't even rated. It was so gory. And it's like notorious for like people walking out of the theaters, or like, it's so funny. One of Kyle's bosses actually texted him and was like, I couldn't finish the first movie because I felt like I was going to get sick. Like, are you kidding me, dude? Like, really? So it actually, people are like getting nauseous from it, being like, I can't finish this. I have to leave the theater and stuff. So the director was a makeup guy. So like he really wanted to make the movies just so he could show off his like makeup effect skills and things like that. So he's really, really good at it. But it's just like goofy stuff. Like, I mean, not goofy, but it takes it over the top where like he's literally like ripping people's like arms in half, like through their fingertips, you know, stuff like that. So yeah, it's really gross.
I like that kind of stuff because it's so ridiculous that like sometimes I just have to laugh in theaters, like even though I'm so grossed out, but I have to laugh for it to pass. And my friend and I are gonna go to theaters, and we wanted to do like a horror movie night, but we were gonna go watch Smile 2. But I think I will float the idea now of Terrifier 3.
You should. If you do, you should at least watch the second one before, if you're able to, just so you get a little bit idea of like the characters in the story. Like, I think they're fun. I think they're just so different. They're just so silly. And
it's like Evil Dead.
Exactly. Yes. It's so gross that I'm like, I have to keep watching this to see how far they actually go with it.
Yes. And I love watching this kind of stuff in theaters with other people because their reactions make it so much more fun.
Exactly. Yeah. Me and Kyle, we got a babysitter last weekend so we could go see it on Friday night. And
I love you guys.
And we went to like a 7:30 movie because we were like, okay, it's probably going to be packed. And it was like a full theater, and it was so fun in the theater with people like reacting. And that's like the best theater experience, when you feel like you're like in a group session together, all doing this thing. It's so fun. Anyways, I just thought it was really cool. Art the Clown, I am a fan of his, and everyone should support him, even if you're grossed out by it.
What a good, like, Halloween movie to watch.
Yes. You should go see it. Check it out. In the previously on, Tessa reminds us that Kyndra tried to cover up her hookup with Cameron, but the rumors finally caught up with her on Valentine's Day, and Tyler dumped Kyndra. Now it was Cameron's turn to squirm because Jessica was about to find out. As for Tessa, she has a crush on a new boy, Derek, one of the popular guys, and she's really hoping it would work out for once.
I remembered nothing about this fling with Derek, so I was like,
what?
Yeah. I was like, oh, Tessa gets a boyfriend. The whole time I was like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Does she actually date this guy? Like, I genuinely didn't know. I had no recollection of Derek existing as a person.
What? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Candace, I like that we've seen him actually like a couple times this season so far, always as just like the friend.
Again,
and every
don't
time I've
remember that.
seen him, I'm like, I don't like him. And I don't know why, because I know something happens, but I just like don't like him.
Yeah. Like I never paid attention.
Wait, so this whole time that he's shown up, you haven't like noticed him at all?
No, except for when they were calling him Derelique.
That's funny.
Yeah. And then
funny.
I did note that when Tessa says Tyler dumped Kyndra, she was like so excited to say that line. Like she was so pumped about it.
So after the previously on, we see Chase and Tessa sitting down on a bench. Tessa tells Chase that she's been hanging out with Derek for a little bit, and she says that they started hanging out a week ago, and after a party, Derek asked if she'd like to go on a date with him, and now they're going on a date tonight. Chase asks her, how stoked are you? And she says, I'm really, really excited, kind of nervous though. Chase tells her not to worry about it and to just be herself, be mellow. And he says Derek's a good guy, and Tessa's happy to have Chase's approval.
Blech.
I know.
Gross. Ugh.
Chase says there have been a few guys that she's liked that have been kind of like duds. And I was just like, is he talking about himself?
Yeah, and how awkward for her to be talking to like a guy that she used to like about someone else. Like, ew.
Because I don't think they ever really had feelings for each other.
No, I believe it.
I don't know if they did, but it's just a show is pushing it.
Yes.
It's zero chemistry. It's actually embarrassing at this point how little chemistry they have and how little Chase wants to be on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all of these scenes are so, like, I'm just like, yawn, yawn, yawn. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Chase, whatever.
That's true. And now that I'm watching it more, I'm like, maybe he's just someone that, like, not to say, like, is willing to film with Tessa, but, like, she may not know many people from the cast. So, like, this is just one person that MTV could, like, pair her with.
Right.
So maybe that's why it's so awkward.
It's weird how much he was featured in those first few episodes, and now we, like, hardly
weird.
see him at all.
Yeah. Also, how annoying to see how lit up Tessa is here talking about, like, Derek and stuff like that. Because I'm like, you never see her this happy with Rocky. I'm sorry. I will continue to point that out.
No, I thought that the whole episode, yeah.
Yes. Candace, we will change your mind.
She was depressed, you guys. She was
because
alone
it wasn't
and
all
depressed.
about her?
She was alone and depressed and sad. Okay? Cut her some slack.
No, I can't either.
Okay.
In the first scene, we are at the coffee clutch with Jessica and Emily. Emily asks Jessica how her trip to Europe was, and Jessica says it was fun, but she came back home to drama.
Okay, but wait, it was so nice to see Emily again.
It's been a long time.
Nice.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, they're still friends. I love it.
Yes, I love that we get to see snippets of, like, their friendship and who they're still friends
when
with.
I see Emily, I think of Cabo.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And the hickey?
Yeah, and the fact that Emily had, like, a terrible Cabo trip because Jessica had all this drama.
I know. What a good friend.
I know. She really was. She was a really good friend. We like Emily. Emily can stay.
We do like Emily.
So Jessica tells her that Cameron hooked up with Kyndra at Winter Formal.
Okay, was that a wild line? Sounded like it.
You know what? I didn't notice that one. I didn't write it down. I'll have to go back and look.
They definitely didn't show her mouth, and it kind of sounded like it, but then they're obviously talking about it, so maybe they just needed, like, I don't know, maybe the audio was bad. I don't know.
A sentence to fill that space.
Yeah, it was just weird. I was like, I'm trying to catch these now because I'm always so bad at it.
Emily asks if she's talked to him yet, and Jessica says no. Then Jessica says, she's so stupid. She hooks up with Cameron while going out with Tyler, trying to pursue Cameron. It's like, why? So you can have drama in your life and something to talk about? Like, is your life that boring that you need to find something to talk about? She sits there and talks about me, thinks I don't know it, and then she comes up to me and tries to be nice to my face. She's just a fake, stupid, two-faced bitch who's ugly and uses that to raise her self-esteem.
Man,
go off, Jessica.
I missed a good Jessica monologue.
Oh my gosh, seriously.
I did. I missed it. Like, her manic way of speaking is my favorite thing. Yeah. I know. And it just goes and you're just like, wow, like that's a true queen right there. Yeah. I love it so much. I was literally like, oh, this feels so good. I'm so happy to have Jessica back.
And she's usually not like mean.
No.
So it was like so funny to see her go off.
So and mean. Wow, she really doesn't like Kyndra right now.
No. I was shocked at how harsh she was with that. Yeah, and I'm like, I agree, but oh my gosh.
It's funny because, you know, talking to Kyndra and Jessica separately, they're both like, we didn't really like not like each other. We just like,
yeah, that's true.
You know, and then you see this Jessica monologue and you're like, whoa, where's this coming from? You really didn't like her that day.
She forgot about that too.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure she did. Listen, I'm sure in high school or even after, I guess in Jessica's case, you have those moments where, you know, you're pissed at someone one day and you'll talk all the shit about them that day. And then next week you'll be hanging out together. Like, it's
exactly
just how it works. But it's just so funny that like that's captured on camera. Like, I would die if some of the stuff I said in high school was on camera. Like, you don't mean it. You're just mad, you know? And like, it just comes out and like.
Even now, not in high school, you know? Like, when you're mad, it's going to come out.
Like, thank God I don't have a camera crew following me. Nobody would like me. I'd be like the most hated woman in America. Like, when I'm mad, like, I say some shit. I mean, everybody does, right?
Yeah.
Or is it just me? Okay.
No. Yes.
Yeah, thank God I don't have a camera crew following me. It would not be good.
Emily asks how she feels about Cameron, and Jessica says that they're going to dinner tonight, so we'll see. Emily asks what she's going to say to him, and Jessica says she has no idea.
I feel like they felt so awkward having this conversation. Like, I feel like MTV was, like, definitely setting it up because at first they're just kind of looking at each other, like, smiling and, like, you know, it's the classic, like, so how's Cameron? Like, you know, like, they definitely are just having this conversation so that they can film.
Yeah, if I was Emily, I'd be like, tell me about your trip to Europe. You know, like, what did you guys do?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Don't give a shit about Cameron.
I do want to say, though, Jess's hair color here is really pretty.
Oh my God.
It's a little different from what we saw before. And I'm pointing this out because later in the episode, her hair color changes. So, like, the editing is messing it up.
I literally have Jessica looks gorgeous, but I didn't want to say it because I always say that.
You don't have to say
it. Yeah. It's understood.
I was like, I'm not going to say it. But then you said it, so I felt justified.
Next, we are at Nick W's house where he and Cameron are playing ping pong in front of the house. And Cameron tells Nick that he's going to dinner with Jessica that night and says that Jessica's fun to hang out with, but she always thinks that he's hooking up with a bunch of girls. Nick says, well, you are kind of a Mac daddy. I can see her point.
It's so cringe.
I know, so Nick. Cringy.
A Mac daddy.
I kind of agreed with Nick W, though, in that moment when he's like, you know, you are hooking up with a bunch of girls because we've seen Cameron hook up with like 3 girls now, but I wouldn't call him a Mac daddy though.
No.
3 is 3 more than Nick hooked up with, so.
That is true. Cameron laughs and says she has no say in the matter though, and Nick says that if she's not putting out the effort, and I was like, what are they talking about here? Like, what effort is she not putting out? I
don't understand. Yeah.
Yeah, that made no sense.
Because he keeps talking about how she's like not acting like a girlfriend or not putting in effort in the relationship. But like, what does he want?
Right.
She goes to dinner with him. They hang out. Like, what more does he want?
Exactly. Yeah.
He doesn't want anything. He wants to hook up with other girls.
Right.
No, but why is he saying that then? Or like, why is Nick saying that?
An excuse.
To make it not Cameron's fault.
Yeah. And Nick,
so weird,
I'm sorry,
though.
He talks out of his asshole. We know this.
Cameron says every time he tells her that, she feeds him a line of bullshit. And Nick agrees, and Cameron says that he doesn't want to be held down. And Nick says, yeah, dude, that's the worst part of the relationship.
Can we just talk about how weird the scene is, though, of them playing ping pong?
Yeah, in like the driveway.
Yeah.
Yes, very weird.
Like MTV always has to have them like playing a sport or doing something because these boys are just so fucking boring by themselves.
Yeah.
Like they have to set up the scene for them.
At least they're not playing golf like 90-year-olds anymore.
I am very thankful for that.
But this is their version of that, though. I feel like they need to have them doing something.
We did see Cameron and Kellen playing video games. That was
We've
nice.
seen them do video games,
guitar.
We've seen them play with a football at the basketball court. And then we've seen them playing pool.
You can't be picky because the girls, what are they doing? They're at lunch, they're shopping.
Yeah, doing girly things.
I know, but it's so weird that they keep giving them like a different sport to play.
Yes, it is very weird. Like, why can't they just be sitting in the living room, like hanging out? Like, who cares, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Because they're boys and they have to be playing
be active.
Soccer or soccer. Why did I say soccer? I meant golf.
Because it's manly.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if I ever dated guys that were like into sports. My ex-boyfriend he was like a tennis player and he was like really good. He used to teach tennis.
Ooh.
And then I dated a guy who he was a biker, like an actual bicyclist, not like a motorbike, but he would do like bike races at like 5 a.m. So lame.
I dated a guy once that rode a unicycle, so that's more lame, I think, than that.
Yeah, that's more lame.
Yeah, that is more lame.
So we don't need to talk about that guy. So we then jump to Rocky's house where she's helping Tessa get ready for her date with Derek. Tessa's saying how nervous she is, and Rocky reassures her that Derek is a gentleman and it's not going to be a bad date. Rocky tells her, if it's horrible, you can tell him that you feel sick and you have to go home. You can always pull the cramps thing because then they don't want to talk about it because they know it's like a girl thing. And then you get home as fast as possible.
That totally works, by the way.
It does. Yeah. I was like, that's solid advice. Yeah.
Yeah. And I loved Rocky doing Tessa's makeup and giving her advice. I thought that was super sweet.
Rocky is such a good friend.
I know.
She's like such a nice person and she's so happy for her. Like genuinely.
She's genuine. I know.
See the difference?
I have my own ish with Rocky in the next couple episodes, but we'll talk about it when we get there. But yes, in this scene, she's very, very sweet.
Yes.
Tessa laughs and Rocky says that she's going to have the best date ever. And Tessa says, what would I do without you? And Rocky says, you do just fine.
I wish I had a Rocky in my life. Like not even in high school, but even now, just like someone who's so motherly and like just like so happy for whoever she's around.
Derek arrives to pick Tessa up, and as they're pulling out of the driveway, he asks if she's ever been to Mosun, the restaurant that they're about to go to. And Tessa says no, and Derek says she's going to love it. He can't believe that she likes sushi, and she's never been to Mosun.
Okay, but also, I really loved Tessa's outfit for her date. It was like laid back.
What did she wear?
Yeah, like a black long sleeve that was like kind of showing a little bit of her like mid, like right above her jeans, and then she was wearing like really nice jeans and like a big blingy 2000s belt.
Yeah.
I thought it was like super cute for a date in the 2000s. Obviously I wouldn't wear this outfit on a date now.
Right.
But I thought it was like laid back but also like dressy without trying too hard. Thought it was a really cute outfit for a date.
I didn't notice. I was just too annoyed with how happy Tessa was.
Why do you hate Tessa so much? What did she ever do to you?
I don't know. Okay, again, I never like felt this before we watched it, but just like seeing her not being happy for Rocky when Rocky's happy in those moments and her only light up when she's like around guys, like that trait annoys me a lot.
Yep, me too.
I get it. Just, I think she was really depressed. Like, I don't know. I just get the feeling that she was just having not a great time.
I don't doubt that either. Yeah. I see that.
But it doesn't matter.
I don't know. But the trait about like only being like lit up when guys are around, like
bothers
you. That's annoying.
It's like being
not a girl's girl.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's the word for girls like that? There's a word for it. Like
pick me.
Yeah.
I feel like that is Tessa though. Kind of. Because she does like light up around boys.
Yeah, she does.
So annoying.
Except for at the barbecue at the end, but that's okay.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I've never seen anybody look more depressed at a party.
So next we see them at the restaurant and he asks what kind of sushi she likes. That's really hard to say. Sushi.
Sushi.
Tessa tells him that he can just pick everything. And he asks, are you serious? Are you sure? And she says that, yeah, she's sure. Then she says, one of my favorites is the crunchy roll thing. I don't know what they're called here, though. And Derek says, crunchy roll? I got one already for you. That's how good I am. This really, really annoyed me. Like, I don't know why, but it was really annoying that she was like, you can pick everything. And then she's like, but this is the thing I like. And, this is so stupid of me too, because we eat sushi all the time, but I feel like a crunchy roll is like one of the safe rolls for somebody who doesn't usually eat sushi. And he's all like, oh, I already got it for you. Like, you know, Mr. Big Shot Sushi Man over here. I was just like, it's annoying.
When you guys go out to eat, do you usually know like what you want to order, or do you let your significant other order for you?
I only let Kyle order for me if we're like sharing food. You know what I mean? Like if we're going to eat it like family style. But other than that, no, I wouldn't let him order for me.
Food is one of my greatest joys in life, and I would never let somebody order for me.
This is probably one of the things that bonds the three of us, because I feel the same. I'm like, I never go out and go like, you pick.
Yeah, that's crazy.
If anything, I'm like, I'm going to try to influence what you're going to choose so that I can eat something else that I want to eat.
You can pick the place, but I will be picking my own food, and I will be eating. Don't I'm like a dog. Don't talk to me or look at me when I'm eating.
Okay, that's a little feral, okay?
I'm just kidding, but I do really like food. Don't talk to the Candace when she's eating.
Sometimes I'll watch like TV shows of like housewives or something, and they go out to order and they're like, honey, you order, you know, I like, you know what I like. And I'm like, is this what like, you know, docile women are supposed to do? Because I'm not doing it right.
Yeah, and I'm not one of those girls who's like, I'll take a salad. Like, no.
I'm actually trying to convince myself that it's okay to order salad in public, because to me, not that it's like not okay, I just would never pay for salad outside.
I get it. I'm like,
I can make a free, very cheap salad at home.
I get it. But sometimes, like, it has to be a really good salad.
Yeah, like, there are certain places that you couldn't make it easily at home.
Not like Caesar salad.
No. Well, no.
A Caesar salad
or like a
outside.
garden house salad. Like, why would you order that?
No. I mean, if I go to like Texas Roadhouse and like it's one of my sides, that's different. But like, I'm not going to order that as like my full meal. That's insane.
Right.
But like in high school, I was the type of person who like didn't want to eat in front of boys. I actually had like a lot of eating issues. If there were too many boys around, like I wouldn't eat lunch. Like I would just, And so now I'm so conscious of I'm not ever letting anybody dictate what I eat and what I put in my mouth again. So I'm very like, I eat what I want when I want, and
you're gonna get what you want.
Exactly. So I'm definitely not the like, I want a salad. Like that's not me anymore. I'm very much like, give me the steak.
Get me my money's worth.
And all three sides. Thank you. And I'm not leaving room for dessert. Thanks. Like,
you're not leaving room for dessert?
I never do. Do you guys, when you go out, do you leave room for dessert?
No.
I am not a dessert person.
I'm not either.
Neither are we.
Like, I could totally go without dessert for the rest of my life and be okay. Like, I really, like,
Same.
I mean, every now and then I'm like, I could go for some ice cream or like, you know, but like, I'm more of a savory person. Like, I'd rather, if somebody wants to, like, people are like, let's go get ice cream. I'm like, let's go get food. Like, I would rather eat.
Yeah. I feel like ice cream is one of those things that like everyone loves, or if they go on holiday and visit like a cute little town, if there's an ice cream shop, everyone like flocks to it. But I never, like, I'm always like, like I'll go if I'm with a group of friends or something, but like I'm not excited for ice cream.
No. Yeah. I'm glad
we all agree on
this. Yeah.
I know. People probably hate this though, who are listening, but
well, I feel like we make very good like eating out partners because we all like do it the same way. It's good.
Yes.
Then Tessa asks how much he comes to this restaurant, and he says he comes here all the time. He says he came with Kyndra, Cammie, Candace, and all those girls one night. Tessa immediately looks uncomfortable when he says their names, and he asks her, "You don't hang out with any of them, do you?" She shakes her head no, and he asks why not. She then says, "I used to be like good friends with all of them, but we just stopped hanging out." She mentions her getting really sick, and he asks what happened with that. And Tessa seems really uncomfortable talking about it. And then she says that she had an allergic reaction to a medicine she was taking. And while she's talking, Derek interrupts and says that she doesn't have to talk about it.
I thought that was really sweet.
Yeah, I thought so too.
He visibly realized that she was uncomfortable and was like, you don't have to talk about it if you don't want to. I thought that was really sweet. He does seem kind of like a gentleman, and he's pretty cute. Not my type, but he's cute. I wouldn't date him, but he's okay. He's decent.
Mm-hmm. He's okay. Yeah.
I agree
and
with
I thought
that.
he was he very much seemed like a gentleman during this date. So if I was basing everything off just this date, I'd be like, cool. He's a good guy.
Yeah, for sure.
Agree.
So Tessa says, no, it's fine. At the hospital, I was there for 3 weeks. Then I came out of the hospital and some of them saw me once, and then they just didn't call me anymore, kind of ditched me. Derek says, that's so weak. And Tessa says, girls are mean.
Steven 2.0.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you're right.
Wait, why?
Because that's what Steven says that to LC when she quits San
When
Francisco.
she leaves San Francisco, yeah. You're so weak.
So weak. It's weak.
Derek tells her that she's a strong girl and that some of those girls can be complete bitches sometimes. Then he says, I'm never hanging out with them again. And Tessa laughs, and she looks genuinely really happy in this moment. Did you guys think it was weird that she said that whole thing about her being friends with them and then them ditching her and all that stuff? It definitely insinuated that it was about Cammie and Kyndra, right?
Definitely. I don't think that it was weird, because I think that there could be truth that Tessa really did think that they were good friends.
Yeah.
And they might have been hanging out as a group. She might have been closer to Kyndra, but just thought that them as a group were close.
Right.
But it could also be reality that they didn't like her that entire time that they were hanging out, and she just didn't know it.
She doesn't ever name names, and she just does kind of say those girls or that group. And there are more in that group than just Kyndra and Cammie. We just don't see them on camera. So, I think she's talking in general about the group and not necessarily individually Kyndra and Cammie, but it comes off that way because of the show.
Yeah, because we don't see anybody else.
Right.
Just because, we've done the Cammie and Kyndra interviews, they talk about that so adamantly. Right. And I'm I bet this is one of those times.
None of them say that they're good friends with her. Right. And they all say that it happened in middle school, a long time ago. But every time Tessa talks about it, it feels very recent.
In the 17 article that she did, she mentions one person, and they change her name for the article. But if you deep dive, there's somebody who outs that person, and it's nobody that we've seen on the show. I mean, we have, but it's somebody who's in the background. It's not anybody prominent. That was her best friend that she felt ditched by. So I don't think it was Kyndra and Cammie. Honestly, I think it was.
Do you know who it is?
I'd have to go back and look at my notes, honestly, from the first time we did season 3. But yeah, I forget her name, but maybe Rachel.
We do see her.
We do.
I think it was Rachel. But she names that one person and doesn't really name anybody else in the 17 article. So I think that's probably more truth than it being Kyndra and Cammie. I think it just comes off that way because that's who it had to come off as, because we're not seeing anybody else.
Right. And I believe Cammie and Kyndra now that they, I believe what they've told us. So it was just weird.
But funny that none of them pointed to this person.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And they might still be friends with her. Maybe they don't want to say it, but to even just mention oh, there was another girl in our group that she was super close with.
Yeah.
That she probably felt that with. No one's ever said that either.
Hold on. I'm looking it up really quick because it was on a live journal that they named her, and I want to make sure who it is.
On a live journal.
It's Tara, not Rachel. Okay. Tara.
And we've seen her before?
Yes, she's blonde. There's a picture of her here. But yeah, they changed her name for the 17 article, but people are sleuths.
Of course. Then we are at dinner with Cameron and Jessica at a restaurant called Ti Amo. Jessica asks Cameron what he's thinking about, and he says nothing. He asks her the same, and she just shrugs her shoulders, and he asks if she wants to hang out after dinner. She says, and then when you go to your rager and hook up with the girls, I'm going to go to bed. He says he'd argue with her, but she'd just say the same thing over and over. And Jessica says it's because he has no argument.
This is like classic Jessica, like, right?
I know.
Like, this is what she does. She play fights with them. And then, like, I'm not doing anything. Yes. I'm not doing anything. It, like, yes, you are. You're trying to, like, goad them into something. And, like, I love her, but I can't defend her in this scene.
I know. And isn't it giving you, like, Tyler Kyndra vibes?
Yeah.
Because, like, the last time you guys were saying how he's, like, holding it over her. And she's kind of doing the same thing here.
That's true.
But she just has a very happy disposition, so that's why it's like
I know
disarming.
I have this written down as this conversation is giving the Jason era, and I'm not feeling it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, it's just giving season 2 Jessica, and I feel like we've grown.
Mm-hmm.
But her earrings are really pretty, and she looks really nice.
Again, Candace giving her the passes.
Yep.
Every
I didn't give her a pass. I just liked her earrings. No passes.
Okay. Hey, so it's still not acceptable.
We're supposed to be noting the fashion, okay? Just doing my job here.
So Cameron disagrees, and he says that he does have an argument, but Jessica won't let it go, and he says that all she does is nag him. Jessica says she's not nagging him at all, and that it would be nagging if it wasn't true. Cameron says it's not true, and why does it matter if it is anyways? Which it's not. Jessica says because it bums her out, and Cameron says that she's never home, and she's out doing God knows what, like in Europe. Jessica says she's been completely honest and that she's never done anything, and Cameron says he's been completely honest too. Jessica rolls her eyes and asks if he's going to tell her about Kyndra or if he's going to keep it a secret. Cameron shakes his head, but he doesn't say anything, and Jessica tells him, "You don't say the things that you say to me and then go and hook up with someone right afterwards. You just don't."
Lauren!
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Lauren 2.0. It came right out of Lauren's mouth.
Jessica definitely watched that episode and she's like, I'm
yeah.
Yeah. I was like, that's so funny. But also, does that mean they were saying the L word? Like, what is happening here? What was he saying?
I thought that too. I was like, what exactly was he saying?
I mean, he's probably just telling her how much like he wants to be with her and she's the only one that he wants. And
yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Just saying what she wants to hear.
Well, that, and I feel like he did probably like her in the moment.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He liked her.
Jessica says that it's not right and that he can't argue with that. And Cameron says, whatever, and tells her that she always has to bring this stuff up and instigate a fight. Jessica says she's not trying to fight with him at all. And Cameron says it's like she thinks it's fun. But Jessica disagrees and says that she doesn't think it's fun. Cameron says he's past her wanting to flirt about the girls he hooks up with. And Jessica asks, let's flirt about the girls you hook up with? And he says she's flirty fighting him right now and he's over it. It is so true.
I love him for this.
I love that he's calling her out
on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, thank you for saying it.
Yes. But I will say when he's like, you're just trying to instigate a fight. Okay. Like, no, absolutely not. You actually cheated on me and I'm trying to talk about it. You know, I kind of also get it, but like, because she's trying to be cool, right? She's trying to not be a naggy girlfriend, but it's not working out. You know what I mean? Like, she's trying to talk about him.
Yeah, but she's the one bringing it up, but without bringing it up.
Right, because she's trying to be cool. She's not trying.
But so she is, like, instigating a fight by bringing it up in this
that way.
Instead of, like, bringing it up as in, like, hey, let's talk about it.
Exactly.
That you hooked up with another girl.
Well, right, because she's trying to be cool because she doesn't want to piss him off, but it's, like, not working because it is pissing him off.
I think she's wrong on here.
I think she's wrong.
I think so too. Yeah.
But I'm just annoyed that like I don't know, she's not trying to instigate a fight, but she does want to talk about the fact that he hooked up with Kyndra. She just doesn't want to like.
But she's doing it in a way that's starting a fight.
Exactly. Yeah.
The play flirtiness of it is like so annoying.
Yes.
I'm actually like so impressed with Cameron in the scene and like compare him to Alex who like literally can't say anything. I like love that Cameron can like express that he doesn't like how she's like talking to him in the situation.
Yes.
But he's not getting like angry about it like Jason would before.
Right. He's not doing it in like an aggressive way. He's just
not at
being
all
honest. Yeah.
Yeah, and
yeah,
I know. Are we turning into Cameron people? Oh my god!
But like, it's true. Like, how is he supposed to know when she's serious? When she's like,
exactly.
Yeah. So
yeah,
it's true. It's true. I agree.
Yeah.
So Jessica says that she's not flirty fighting him at all, and then they go back and forth with, "Yeah, you are. No, I'm not. Yeah, you are." And Jessica finally says, "Ugh, we're over it." And Cameron says, "Done." Then we're back at Mosun with Tessa and Derek, and she says that this is her favorite sushi she's ever had, and he asks when they're coming back. And then Tessa did this like really weird, like awkward laugh, like she was really excited, but it was like, I thought she sounded so ridiculous, like, I don't know. I want to like
her raspy, like nervous, like
you know. Yeah. And I was like, Tessa, stop! Like it was such a like fake flirty laugh. I don't know.
How did I not notice that?
She did it a bunch of times too this episode. Like anytime she was talking about him. So
that's funny.
Anytime she's with a guy, she does it. She does it with Chase too.
Oh, that's funny.
And a favorite sushi spot. She said she doesn't eat sushi.
Exactly.
What is she talking about?
I know.
Oh, Tessa.
I know.
Tessa.
So she thanks him for bringing her, and Derek says that the night isn't over yet, and they leave the restaurant, and he asks if she really does want to come over, and she says yes.
Which, really quick, like if they are going home to hook up, as MTV's implying, but like all of this was like voiceover, I'm pretty sure. Because they were shown walking away, so like you can't actually know if they said this for real.
Right.
Probably not.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Next, we're at Cameron's house, and Nick W. is asking him about his date with Jessica. Cameron tells him they got into a big fight and that he doesn't feel the way he used to. He says he told Jessica that he doesn't feel as strongly towards her as he once did and that she should go out and meet other people. Cameron says Jessica was bummed, but he's not going to lie to her. And Nick says, yeah, and you don't want to lead her on. And Cameron agrees. I thought this conversation was kind of refreshing between the two of them. It's like, at least they're in agreement, like, don't lead her on for no reason and stuff.
Yeah.
It was a mature conversation for Nick W. to be having, I thought.
Honestly, yeah. Honestly.
We're like shocked.
I know.
Because of how much we dislike him. So but okay, and I don't want to give him like any sort of kudos, but sure.
Okay,
fine.
Yeah. Who's worse though, Nick W. or Cedric?
Nick W. Yeah.
Like in a heartbeat.
I would choose Cedric over him, yeah.
Okay. You guys are right. I agree too. Just had to throw that in. Had to check you real quick.
Then we see Jessica and her friend Deani eating together, and Jessica says she doesn't know what she's going to say to Cameron. Deani asks what exactly happened with him, and Jessica tells her that he got really mad at her and said that he told her he's always going to care about her and love her, but that he's not in love with her anymore. So now they're going to the park to talk, and Deani says, everything always happens at the park. And Jessica says they went to the park before and it was really cute, and now this time it's not going to be cute.
Okay, but why is that so true? Relationships start and end at the park when you're that age.
Yeah.
I feel like
it's true, yeah.
There's nowhere else to go.
No, exactly, because there's nowhere else to go. But like, it's always like at the park.
It's like safe zone, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You go there because there's going to be like so many people that like if anything goes wrong, you're okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say in the scene, Jessica's hair is so dark compared to how it was in the beginning. So it's like definitely some weird editing going on. And I almost feel like they filmed this like maybe even before she went to Europe. Like probably. It's like so thrown out of order.
Yeah. It did seem like he had this conversation with her that he wasn't in love with her. Like, before she went to Europe. I do think that, like, the timeline is weird. Yeah. It's wonky. It's wonky.
Next, we see Rocky and Tessa taking a walk on the beach while Tessa talks about her date with Derek. And I just had to note that Rocky is, like, peak 2006 in this outfit.
Yes.
She's, like, the low-rise jeans, the, like, form-fitting little cami, the brown cardigan, the glasses. I was like, it was perfect.
The blue tank top was so cute, too. Like, that color was so cute on her.
It was.
I actually noted Tessa's outfit because I don't know what she was wearing on top, but she had like, it's like jeans that she rolled up and had them like really thick that they look like khakis.
Yeah.
Those were so popular at the time. No one's going to wear them these days because they're not cool. No. But it was so ugly.
I mean, were they ever cool? No.
A little bit.
It looked cool.
It's like gaucho pants. Like we thought they were cool.
Yes.
But they're not.
Oh my
cool.
gosh. Yeah.
My mom tried to get me to wear those and I was like, no ma'am. No ma'am.
Tessa tells Rocky they talked about who her friends are, who she hangs out with, and which ones aren't her friends. Tessa says, I like him. And Rocky asks, you do? you've already decided? And Tessa says yes, and that she decides quickly. And then Rocky in her baby voice says, oh, my little Tessa, you have a boy.
The only thing I have is finally Tessa could stop bitching about being single.
Seriously, I know.
But now I don't want to hear her talking about boys.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
I know, but at least she can be like chipper instead of depressed.
I guess. Cammy makes a comment later in the episode that I totally agree with. I'll point it out when we get there about Tessa.
I think I might know which one you're talking about.
I think so
I
too.
agree with it too. Yeah. Then we're shopping at Mishka with Kyndra and Cammy, and they're both trying on clothes. Cammy comes out in a baggy pink sweatshirt, and she says that she really likes baggy sweatshirts because she's looking a little hefty these days. And that made me so sad.
I know.
I know. But body image was like such a problem back
Oh,
then.
no. And then like Kyndra, who's like a stick person, you know, like I get it, but still, that made me really sad to hear her say that. So
I know, but don't you guys like feel like that these days? Like sometimes now.
Oh my
too?
gosh!
Like, it's just,
yes,
it's all the time. It's not like we're over it, you know?
No, I feel like that every day, probably at least
I
once.
Yeah.
I always see that meme that's like, I wish I was the weight I was when I thought that I was fat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm. It's so depressing to think about that.
It's so
Yes.
depressing. I was like 109 pounds in high school and thought that I needed to lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
And it like makes me so sad for my younger self. And I just want to give her a hug and be like, listen, you're never going to be this hot again.
Mm-hmm.
Please enjoy
I
it.
always tell myself, though, I'm like, maybe that's what my future self is going to tell me now, today.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's true.
So I'm like, okay, try to be like fine about it. But sometimes when you like put your mental health first and your body first and you're like eating healthy and all this stuff
Yeah.
and you like gain the weight,
Yeah.
after you gain it, then you look back and you're kind of like, shit,
Yep.
like I didn't mean to gain all this weight. Now I got to like cut back. But it's always this like
Yeah.
fluctuation between those
It
two
sucks.
mindsets.
Yeah.
And I hate it because I know that's not healthy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But then it's like so hard to stay on just that like healthy track all the time.
Yeah, I know. And
Yeah,
then it's
it
like
sucks.
you're the hardest on yourself. I always feel bad every year. So I always make like a birthday collage for one of my friends for her birthday. And it always pops up again on Facebook. And one year I had put like, P.S. will never be this skinny again. And like, I hate that I did that because like, why does it matter? Also, that's not funny. And like, you know, and like, but like it pops up every year and I like cringe at it because it's like,
Yeah.
ugh. And like, but that's how girls literally think. Like
Mhm.
all of the time. It's so sad. I hate that that's like what it is. I hope that if I
Yeah.
have a daughter, I can manage to like not
Influence them in that
Impart
way.
that.
Mhm.
yeah, and like
Yeah.
not have that be such an issue.
You probably said that like thinking about yourself. I'm guessing
Yeah.
because I feel the same way if I'm looking at pictures. I would never look at a picture of a friend and say that to them or
No.
think that about
Mm-mm.
them. Like I'm always thinking about that of myself.
Yes.
So yes,
Mhm.
it's always like a
Absolutely.
reflection of yourself.
Yeah.
You're the hardest on yourself. So when you look at other people, you're seeing them how they're never going to see themselves, right? Nobody can see themselves
Right.
how other people see them. And it would be such a blessing if we could. Yeah, I just try to remind myself that like what I'm seeing is like a warped vision of myself because you have your
Mhm.
own like lens on, you know?
It is really hard to having two girls, daughters, of like catching myself saying things without even realizing it sometimes because I'm like so self-conscious about that I don't want to say anything they're going to like get that in their head forever and be
Yeah.
like, you know, when they're 30, remember this thing that I said when they were like 5 years old or something because I know
Yeah.
that happens.
Oh.
And so it's like, I try not to, like, I'm not anything about them, but just like about myself. Like, I don't
Yeah.
want to be like, oh, I feel so fat today or things like that. Cause then they're going to hear it and be like, why is that bad? You know, like, it's just
yeah.
like, it's so much pressure.
Yes, I'm so
it's
afraid to have
crazy.
kids
So
for that.
much.
Like, because you could say one thing and it'll ruin their entire life.
But
You
I would
know?
have like no idea. And it's just like
Yes.
something I said without thinking about it.
Yes, when you think about the things that your parents did that like stuck with you, it's like
Mhm.
scary to think about because you know your parents aren't like thinking about that every day, but you are.
No, it's like they probably don't even remember it.
No,
Yeah.
it's crazy. Oh my god, yeah,
It's scary. Yeah.
Ah.
Hopefully some of you guys can relate. And if you do, take our advice. Be kind to yourselves because we're the hardest on ourselves and no one else is thinking about you in that way.
All right, back to the episode. Kyndra and Cammy, they start talking about Derek and Tessa, and Kyndra is wondering if it's official that they're going out or if they're just dating. Cami says she asked him if they were together, and Derek looked at her and shook his head. And she said that he looked at her like she was a bitch for asking these questions. Cami says that the guys always used to talk shit about those girls, and she doesn't understand why they started hanging out with them. Kyndra says she doesn't think they hang out with them, but Cami says, yeah, they do. And Kyndra says she can't see them together, though. Kyndra says she better not hurt Derek, and Cami says that if Tessa fucks with Derek, shit's gonna hit the fan.
Yeah, I love how all of a sudden they act like they like care so much about Derek.
It's weird. And I was like, do we think that MTV had anything to do with this as well? Because like Tessa never mentioned Derek before either. It's like he just kind of this like popped up out of nowhere. You know what I mean?
He was part of their friend group, but like I don't think they.
Kyndra asked him to Winter Formal,
Yeah,
so they're
that's
like
true.
in the same group.
Yeah.
But the way Tessa said, like how he asked her out, it was like we were talking at a party, and then the next day we went on a date. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What kind of high school guy is so forward?
That's why I thought it was odd too.
But
yeah.
that kind of stuff happens in high school. You're thinking about it wrong. You hang out at a party and it's a guy that you like have never hung out with before, and all of a sudden you're like, wow, this guy's cute and he's kind of cool, and then you're like talking, and then like you go hang out. Like that totally happens.
That's never happened to me.
It never happened
That's
to me
never
really like that
happened
either.
to you?
Like, not that easily, I'd say, or
yeah,
quickly.
not that easily.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of messaging first before like you get
No,
there.
it wasn't in high school. It was like right after, but that's how I met the geologist.
Just at a party.
At a party.
But he's older.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
But that must have felt so good because you're like, what a forward guy.
Yeah.
It did.
But it is because he's older, I feel
Yeah,
like.
but I feel like even in high school, like even if it's not like a party, like at a dance, you hang out with a guy that you've never really hung out with before, because that kind of stuff happens in high school. Like you happen to be at this party and then you're talking to this guy and you never really talked to him before, and then all of a sudden you're talking, and like sure, generally there's like some back and forth texting usually in between, but I feel like that's a really common thing to happen. And the date thing was probably because, I mean, they're on a television show, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like they just skipped the texting stage.
Never happened to me, and I feel like because I would hide who I liked, I'm like to like someone and then the next day be like, let's put it on TV. I'm like, you're fucking okay. This is too much.
I mean, right? I mean, being on TV at all in high school, I couldn't do it. I commend these people so bad. Like,
yeah.
And then to know that there's like a DVD evidence of your high school experience. Like, I want to die. Like, that's awful.
So before Cami and Kyndra leave the store, they go to check out, and Cami's total is $4,285.
What? Hell,
right? Like, is that real?
I did not even notice that.
You didn't?
Mm-mm.
I like my jaw dropped when the cashier said that.
Yeah, me too.
How did I miss that? Wow.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, Kyndra says, what'd you get, woman? And the cashier says, all China wall. And Kyndra says, the shopping's over for you, right? And Cami laughs and says, no. I'm like, how much were those hoodies? Like,
I hated that sweatshirt.
$300 each or something? Like, what the heck?
Have you guys ever spent that much money on clothes, like in one shopping
No.
trip?
$4,000? No. When I got my first paycheck from my first job, we went to the mall and we went into Guess. And I thought that was like, I thought that was like so amazing. And I pulled out this dress and it was so cute. It was blue and it was striped and it had like the back had like a diamond back out, like a little piece that was out. And I was like, this is so cute, but it's $125. And my friends were like, just get it, you know? And like, I felt so rich buying this $125 dress. And then I went home and felt so guilty. Cause like, I didn't make very much money back then. I was like working at a restaurant, you know what I mean? Like you know?
Yeah.
And so I felt so guilty after I went home and just spent $125 on this dress. But I could not imagine spending $4,000 on something if I couldn't even spend $125 on a Guess dress.
Yeah.
Not even today. Like,
No.
I feel like the most expensive thing I bought in one bill is maybe like $500 maybe, like on a nice like winter coat, which is like you need to get like a nice
one that'll last.
Cold. Yeah, but to spend like $4,000, I'm like, holy shit.
I don't even think I could spend $4,000 on just clothes.
No,
like,
it's crazy.
I want to, but I can't.
Yeah. Next, we see Jessica meeting up with Cameron at the park. They greet each other and are both pretty quiet until Cameron says that this is awkward. Jessica says it's not her fault that it's awkward, and Cameron says, it's my fault, huh? And Jessica says, why would it be your fault? Cameron says, dude, and Jessica tells him not to get mad. He asks why he would get mad, and she says, I don't know, your little dude sound always means you get mad. Cameron says, I didn't say dude, did I? And she tells him that he says dude every time he gets mad and is ready to say a comment, but then he doesn't say it. Cameron says, wow, you really know me, don't you? Jessica is silent and looks away, and he tells her that he's not going to treat her any differently. Jessica pauses and then says, you have to treat me differently. You can't treat me the same way that you used to. Things were meant to be different because you want them to be different. You can't be the same.
Where she's like said this exact same thing or something like this in season 2.
Yeah.
Yes.
This scene is so reminiscent of all of her previous breakups.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like actually insane.
It is. Cameron says he's not changing anything, and all he said was that he doesn't want her to miss out on any opportunities. Jessica tells him that he can't turn it around and blame it on her because it's him and what he wants. And Cameron says it's not like that, and he just doesn't want her to cut him out of his life. She says she won't, and then Cameron says the relationship doesn't work anymore. And then we hear what I'm pretty sure was a wild line of Jessica saying, so it's over, and then we see Cameron say, yeah. This was really frustrating to watch. I felt like he was kind of making excuses with the whole, like, I want to give you an opportunity to meet other people. Like, I
was annoyed
hate
by that.
I'm like, just stop. Don't say that. Just, like,
I'm
take
doing
accountability
this
and
for
be like,
you.
I don't want
Yeah.
to be your boyfriend.
Yeah. He's like trying to soften the blow.
Yeah.
But it's even more annoying by being like, I don't want you to miss out. I want you to meet other people.
Yeah.
Like,
Just stop. Yeah.
Shut up. Yeah.
That doesn't make it any better. That makes it worse, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, have you guys ever seen the movie He's Just Not That Into You?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. You know that scene, those like break scenes in between where like the comedians are talking? It's like the two black women. And they're like, and they make you think it's your idea. Like that's literally like what it feels like. Like they literally are trying to make it seem like it's your idea that you want to break up. Like,
yeah.
And it's like, stop. But men really do this. Oh, like case in point. It's one of my favorite movies, by the way.
Doing her a favor.
But I liked Jessica Chanel sunglasses.
I did notice them. I'm like, that has to be from like Laguna Beach season 2 money.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And all those mall appearances she did.
For sure. You're so right.
I like how every scene you have a different accessory of hers that you like.
I know.
The earrings, the sunglasses. Yeah.
I'm so embarrassing, you guys.
Next, we see Cameron, Nick W., and Derek skateboarding and talking about Derek's barbecue happening later that day. Cameron asks Derek, but he calls him D-Rock, what's going on with your lady friend? And Derek tells them that he's having a good time, he likes her, and he thinks she likes him and that she's coming to his barbecue. Cameron says, yeah, you have to invite her. She's your girlfriend. So I guess they're like a boyfriend-girlfriend, like, do we think that really happens? Like that was, I'm like, okay, I guess they're official.
I think so, because like Cammie talked about it too.
Yeah.
Like, I do think that they like started going
But
out.
It was very fast, yeah.
Honestly, I truly wish that people would just leave other people alone, because obviously Derek really likes Tessa, but he's annoyed at what other people think, which is dumb, just like Cameron and Jessica, and it pisses me off. Leave other people alone.
Yeah, just stay out of their business. Yeah,
seriously.
Who cares?
They like each other. You don't have to be in the relationship. It's okay.
Exactly.
But it's so funny in high school how people, like, this happens so often.
Yeah.
You feel embarrassed for liking people and, like, people, like, make fun of that, you know?
Yeah.
But in, like, the adult world, no one cares. Like, you're out doing your own thing. You're not, like, hanging out with your friends all the time.
Right.
So,
it's
so weird.
Derek says he's having a good time with her now, and then all these people start talking shit and saying things. Cameron says, see, that's the problem with going out with somebody. I never went out with Jessica. And Derek says, yes, you did. And Cameron argues that he didn't. Derek says Cameron can't deny that and that they were going to get married. And Nick W. chimes in and says, you weren't going out with her. You were like seeing her. Cameron agrees that he was just seeing her and that they were kind of together. He says he told her he wants to remain in her life and then says, she's so cool. I love hanging out with her. I just don't want to have a relationship with her, only because I don't feel the same way that she does, so I'm not going to lead her on. At least I took the initiative and ended something that wasn't working.
Okay.
I know. Also, why did this conversation about Derek and Tessa turn into about Cameron and Jessica?
I know.
Like,
I have it in the end. I'm like, what's up with Derek and Tessa?
Yeah,
though?
like tell us more, please. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just irritated by him claiming that he never went out with Jessica, because, like, Yeah, it did. Yeah, it was a whole relationship that you had to break up. Like, you know, like.
Exactly.
It's fine.
Then we're at Rocky's house, and we hear Tessa say she's kind of nervous about the barbecue. She asks Rocky if she's coming later, and Rocky says she's definitely coming later. I have to point out to you guys that this is that part that me and Kyle were talking about where they're on Rocky's like back porch over the cactuses, and they both like get up onto the railing, which it's like if they fell backwards, you'd be dead. So like, guys, what are you doing? Stop.
I love that you guys, the parents, caught
I know.
this. I did not. I did not.
It's okay. That's immediately what I thought of. I'm like, stop it. You're going to fall. So Rocky wonders what Kyndra and Cammy will think of this with them entering on their turf. And Tessa says people have told her to watch out because they might try to sabotage it for her. Rocky laughs and says, big surprise there. Tessa wonders why and what is the point of them doing that. And Rocky says that in some sick way, it gives them pleasure to see other people fall.
Yeah.
This is the same outfit and hair, by the way, that they were in at the beginning of the episode. So it's like, it's the same day. Like Tessa hasn't, or either has gone on the date. I don't know, but this is all the same.
Oh, that's
scene.
so interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
So this would have been before their date, but she was already invited to the barbecue then?
Or it could have been a different date. I don't know. Like,
right.
But
it's funny. I didn't notice that. We're then at Derek's house where the barbecue has started and everyone's already eating. And Kyndra asks Derek, what time is Tessa coming? And then it cuts to Cammy and she just says, ew, to that. And I don't think that was like intended to be like the answer to that question maybe, but like,
oh my God,
maybe it was. You think it was? Okay.
Definitely. It's very Cammy to do that.
I thought it was hilarious, but I was like, I didn't know if it was real or not. Kyndra says Tessa's missing dinner, and then we hear two wild lines, I think Cammy's voice, saying that she's not fashionably late anymore, and we're so pissed at her. Cameron jokes that he should break up with her for that, and Kyndra says, that sounds like a good idea, though. And Derek says, I'm offended, Kyndra, and Kyndra jokes that Tessa will be sleeping on the couch tonight. Tessa finally arrives, and as we see her walking in, we hear Kyndra say, rude girl.
Okay.
They're so hostile. I don't think those were wild lines, Liz. Like, I don't think so? Cammy actually said that.
Okay. It's so rude and unnecessary. Like, I hate Kyndra and Cammy messing with Derek about Tessa. Leave people alone. Let him live. He obviously likes her. You don't have to like her.
Just shut up about it.
He's so uncomfortable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I'm like giving them the benefit of the doubt now of like not being as mean, but they totally are.
Yeah.
It's so bad. So Tessa comes out and says hello. And like the second after she sits down, we hear Kyndra say, this is boring. You want to go? And then we hear someone else say, what, you guys are leaving? And Kyndra gets up and says it's been a long weekend. And Cameron says he gets it. People get full and then they leave. And I'm pretty sure it was Cammy then that said, we come, we eat, we conquer. The girls are all saying goodbye to Derek and giving hugs. And we see Tessa sitting by herself awkwardly, just saying nothing. And as Kyndra, Cammy, and Nikki are leaving, we hear Cammy say, she literally has the personality of a wet rag. And then I think it was Nikki who said, she's like talking to a wall. Is that the comment?
Line.
Yeah.
Yes, the wet rag.
Yes, I agree.
I was talking to my boyfriend about something this weekend, and then I used that exact thing, and then I was like, did you like that? I'm like, I got that from you.
Oh my gosh. That's awesome.
Yeah, like who walks into a barbecue and like just sits there and looks depressed and sad? Like, I don't know. I just was like so turned off by it.
But they were so mean.
That's fine, but she didn't know that they were being mean.
Yeah, she didn't hear all that stuff beforehand.
Like, I don't know. I would have been like, hey, like, I don't know. I just, instead of just sitting
something
there and like, obviously he's not, it's his barbecue. Don't like make him come over. I don't know. I just was, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, in that instance, I felt bad, but I just think Tessa is a wet rag.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well,
that's Tessa.
I almost just did that too.
Yeah.
That's literally Tessa. Like, she walks in the room and
yeah.
So Derek asks why they left, and then what Cameron said after this, he made me laugh. He said, those hoodlums, man, they show up, they grind our food, and then they bail. It's like, come on, have a little class, man. Cameron and Nick W. are teasing Tessa and Derek, calling them lovebirds, and while Tessa is laughing, I thought this was like really uncomfortable. Like just this whole scene was super uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And Derek asks, what was that, Cameron? And as they're awkwardly looking at each other, Cameron says, you look so uncomfortable over there, Tessa.
Especially, by the way, because Cameron just hooked up with Tessa like
Yeah.
a little while ago, and Nick was like there.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's weird.
We then see Rocky walking in and Tessa calls out to her, over here. So Rocky comes outside and says, oh, it's a boy fest. And she says she's not hungry because she just ate sushi. The boys all go inside, leaving Tessa and Rocky outside alone. And Tessa tells her that she saw Kyndra, Cammy, and Nikki for about 3 seconds. Rocky asks, they came and left? And Tessa says, they came, ate, and left. Rocky makes a face and says, random. Oh, well, their loss. She then asks Tessa, what about you? You seem quiet. And she asks if she's okay, and she says that Tessa looks sad.
Okay, why does Rocky always bring down the mood? Again, you just walked into a party, Tessa's fine.
What do you mean? Tessa's not fine.
You look sad. What's wrong? Like, nothing. We're at a party. Like, talk about anything else. I don't know. It just annoys me. What? They're always trying to bring it down to, like, be sad. And, like, there's something to bitch about. Like, just have a good time at the barbecue. Like, I'm so sick of it.
I feel like Rocky's being so nice by checking in on her friend, and she's noticing that she's, like, uncomfortable. So she's asking her how she feels.
Okay, I think I'm projecting for the next episode.
Yeah.
Because she also does this on the bonfire where she's like, tell me when you want to go for a walk. Like, I'm having a good time. Like, leave me alone.
I think in this scene that Rocky is just kind of like doing a vibe check on Tessa, and she could immediately tell that something was wrong. And that's why she kind of acted that way.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Rocky's being a nice, good friend. Woo.
Instead of like dismissing her feeling and being like, we're having a good time.
Yeah, she was like, okay, I can tell something's going on. Like,
Candace is would be totally different.
Okay, fine. Rocky's being a good friend. They're having a good time.
Tessa says being with his friends after knowing they rag on him for having a girlfriend is weird. Rocky tells her she can't think of it like that because they're only doing it because they're jealous. And Tessa says, I'll try not to. I'll get over it. But just like right now, it bothers me. Rocky says she can't think about that and that this is the beginning of a huge adventure. Tessa smiles and we hear a wild line of Rocky say, let's go inside and get your boy. I thought that was a little over the top. Like, yeah. This is the beginning of a huge adventure. Like,
I know. What? She just tries to
that was a little corny.
Everything positive.
I know.
But Tessa's right though. Like everyone's ragging on her boyfriend about like being with her. So like obviously that's why she's so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
They're basically being like, Tessa's so fucking uncool. Why are you with her?
Yeah, that is what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think that they bring down the mood, though, whenever they walk into a room. It's literally like, you know, like when you're at a party and everyone's like vibing and like having a good time and then that person walks in and it's literally like Buzz Killington from Family Guy. Like it's literally like, wah, wah, like literally.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel different because like everyone did hate them.
For a good reason, because they're so boring and they bring down the mood.
Okay, but they're nice people. At least Rocky
is, yeah.
No one is saying that. No one is talking about niceness. We're talking about personality and fun. I rest my case. I submit it for the approval of the Midnight Society.
Did you guys have a favorite outfit?
I did, and I didn't even mention it during this episode, but it was when Tessa and Rocky were getting ready together. Whatever Rocky was wearing was really cute. When Rocky was doing Tessa's makeup.
Oh, okay.
Rocky looked really good.
Yeah. I don't think I noticed, honestly.
I don't remember exactly.
Wasn't that the one that you guys said was like very 2000s?
No, that was the
that was when they were walking on the beach.
Yeah, the blue tank top.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That was mine of
the blue.
My favorite was Rocky's outfit in that. Yeah,
I have the blue tank top and also Rocky's outfit at the barbecue.
Ooh, Rocky's getting all of our fashions today.
Did you guys have a favorite moment?
Yes. Rocky doing Tessa's makeup. I thought that was really cute.
My favorite was Jessica's crazy rant at the beginning of the episode about Kyndra.
Oh my God, I should have said that. I also love that.
It was just so like out of nowhere.
Nothing like a good Jessica monologue.
And I'll take, just a line. She's got the personality of a wet rag. Because I'm using that in my real life.
Perfect.
So before we go, I wanted to remind everyone that next week we'll be having a special Halloween episode where we tell spooky stories sent in to us from our listeners. And then we're also having a very special guest, my mom, on to share a spooky story that happened to her and I many years ago. So yeah, we're super excited for that. So it won't be a normal episode. It'll be all spooky stuff. And then the following week, we'll get back to Laguna Beach.
Happy spooky season.
Woo.
Spooky.
Thank you so much for listening to Millennial TV. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe and leave us a rating or a review. If you'd like to stay up to date and see extra content, you can follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Reddit, and Facebook under Millennial TV. You can also send us an email at millennialtv, that's millennialteav @gmail.com. We love hearing from our listeners. We are your hosts, Liz, Candace, and Adrienne, and we'll see you next week.